Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. It's weekly recap time. Thanks for joining me. Let's talk weekly recap. I do one of these for every week. I'm a couple more weeks behind than I'd like to be, and yeah, that's a thing. Couple more weeks. So I do one of these for every week I run. I break down the numbers. I talk about the loads I do, why I did them. Talk about the freight lanes a little bit, try to go over some costs, variable costs. At the end, you'll hear me say, this is the money left to do what I have to do with. That's where you want to plug in your truck and your trailer and all the fixed costs you would have, insurance, things like that associated with trucking. And that's where you plug that stuff in at. And then I don't talk about the carrier I'm leased to. I'm leased to an 80-20 split reefer carrier, and find yourself a good carrier you can live with would be my suggestion. And let's get to the numbers. If I forgot anything, I'm sure somebody will let me know, but I got to get this out because I'm falling even farther behind instead of getting caught up. So let's get to it. So I started this week off at the house in Minnesota. I got a call, said, hey, would you be willing to go to Iowa and get a load? It's 250 miles of deadhead, but it's paying spectacular. And I said, I ain't afraid of no deadhead. You know what I mean? That just, if the money's right, if the money's better 250 miles away than it is where I'm at, I'm going to go 250 miles and get that money. At the end of the day, it's all about top dollar. That's what it's about. Or top profit, I should say, not top dollar. But it's all about the profit. So I drove down to Iowa, picked up a load of meat in Iowa, and that was coming over to New York. I had to stop in the Albany area, and then it finaled out in Portland, Maine, which is, just into Maine a little bit there. It was 40,000 pounds, 26 degrees. 250 deadhead miles, like I said, 1386 on the loaded, so 1646 total on that one, on that load. That load paid $8,700, $8,700. So that's why I deadheaded to get that. So that was my load I took out to Maine. Now I like a setup where I go out and back, so that's normally what I'm looking for. This is a little bit longer than normal for me, like doing all the deadhead and going out and coming back, but I still got this done in a week, so it wasn't that bad. It was pretty tight scheduled on the way out to Maine. They offered me, the company I'm leased to had two of these loads. One did not have the stop in Albany. The other one just went straight to Maine. I took the one with the stop in Albany because if I can make more money doing stops, I'll do it. And they wanted to pay like $500 to do a stop. And I'm like, oh yeah, $500 for a stop. And it's literally, a mile from the interstate. Like it was basically maybe 3 out of route miles total. So yeah, I'm gonna drive that 3 miles to make that $500 and deal with that customer. That's the key to stop off. That's where you earn your money in a stop off, is dealing with the customers. So out of there, looking for a load back, and I picked up a load out of Massachusetts, out of the Boston area. That was 155 miles of deadhead. And normally when I go to Maine, I expect a deadhead, out or, at least a ways away. Certain areas of the country are just like that. When you get to the corners, when you get to Florida, Maine, that area, like, the far reaches of the country, a lot of times you're going to deadhead out of there. But like I said, if the money's right, we ain't afraid of it. So that was picked up a load in Massachusetts. That was a 1-pick, 3 drops coming back to Minnesota. That was I came back. I had a Wisconsin delivery and then 2 Minnesota deliveries on that one. 155 empty miles, 1430 on the loaded, 1585 total miles. So 2 really long runs in a short amount of time, especially with the extra deliveries and stuff. This was a 70-mile-an-hour hard running week. That load, I did not write down the weight on that load. I know it was negative 10 degrees. It was a frozen food load. If I'm not mistaken, man, I just can't remember. It's been about 3 weeks since I did this. I don't want to lie to you. It was negative 10 degrees. I don't remember the weight on it. If I remember, it was not like a full 40,000 pounds. I think it was like 30,000, something like that. Kind of a middle load, you know, and the majority of that came off at the Wisconsin stop. The last 2 stops were kind of like, why bother, you know, but it adds to the money, so you got to do it. So that was kind of the rundown. That load paid $4,200. Can't believe loads coming out of Massachusetts paying $4,200 back to Minnesota, the land of cash. You know, it's good. It's good for me. It's great for me, actually. So let's break down some numbers on this week. I will tell you, this was by far the most fuel I've bought in a week in a while. Because I had to run her hard to get, you know, out there. The load in Iowa took, you know, when I accepted it, it had plenty of time on it, but it was a meat load. So, you know, I sat there waiting, I think like 12 hours to get that meat loaded. And so that kind of put me in a tight bind to get to that first stop on time in Albany. But once I got done with that, I had like a whole day to get over to Maine. So kind of worked out, but a little stressful. And then the load back was, you know, same, kind of almost the same setup. It was a hard push to get from Massachusetts to Wisconsin. But then once I got the Wisconsin done, the other 2 deliveries came off in the same 14-hour shift, which kind of had me a little concerned there. I had about a 30-minute window to get to the second stop before they closed, and I normally don't do this, but I had to go into Walmart and, you know, give them the sob story and be like, of course they don't care, you know, they're just worried, they're just there to get the check, you know. But I had to go in there and give them the old sob story of, you know, if you guys don't get me out of here in like 30 minutes, I am not going to be able to go home, you know, because I'd already talked to the broker, and the broker had already talked to the second stop for me, and they said, well, if you can't get here by midnight, we start receiving at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So basically, I was going to lose a whole day sitting waiting on one partial pallet. All that stuff like that drives me crazy. But luckily, I went in, I asked Walmart, I said, is there any way you guys can look? I said, I've had a green light for like 30 minutes now. No call, no nothing. And the lady's like, oh, I got your paperwork right here. Oh, that kills me on the Walmarts. Because what Walmart does, and this is, I don't know this for a fact, but this is the way it seems to me. They unload about 10 trucks. Like, they'll have one guy, and he'll unload 2 or 3 trucks, and then he'll take the paperwork for 2 or 3 trucks to the office. Because if you ever notice, whenever they call people back to back to back. It ain't like it just trickles in. It's like Walmart, everybody goes to the office at one time, everybody's leaving the gate at one time. So I really wish Walmart would look into that. That's kind of annoying because, you know, I'm sitting there for 30 minutes with a green light, and my paperwork's, you know, probably on somebody's forklift, and then he takes it all, you know, he unloads a whole nother truck and then takes it to the office. So, that's the way it seems it's going over there at Walmart to me. I don't know 100%, but that's the way it seems like it goes over there. So, let's get to these numbers. Bought a lot of fuel this week. If you don't know, check out Mudflap, guys. If you buy your own fuel, it's going to be tough to beat it, you know, unless you've got some sort of, you know, mega carrier card, and not everybody does. So, you know, for the average guy, if you're leased on to a carrier, and that carrier offers you a 10-cent discount, I would definitely recommend you're the prime candidate for a Mudflap account. The account doesn't cost nothing. Download the app, costs nothing. There's no fees. There's no credit check. Sign it up with your personal credit card or your business credit card and earn that cash back off of it and save a lot of money. But anyway, let's get down to the numbers. Just wanted to run that. $12,900 is what that week works out to. Yeah, that's a good 7 days haul right there. I mean, that was a rough week, but at the end of the week, when I seen, you know, when I had the total on the money, I was like, okay, I work like this every week if this is what it takes. You know what I mean? Because it couple years like this, you know, you're talking early retirement. So $12,900 to the carrier, 80-20 split lease. My 80% is $10,320. That is 3,231 miles, all-in miles, 3,231 all-in miles, 415 empty miles. A lot of deadhead in there. Like I said, 15% deadhead. That is above the normal, but these rates are above the normal. So that was 2,816 loaded miles for the week, and that is $3.99 all miles, $3.99 all miles, $3.19 a mile. My 80% all miles, $3.19. Very profitable at that rate. That is $4.58 a mile on the loaded miles. Lord have mercy, this market is unreal right now. And so on diesel, let's go back to diesel. $16.42 on diesel. That is a lot of diesel for me for a week. Like this time last year, I was probably like $1,000 on diesel a week. I did idle 2 nights in this. Being in upstate New York, it was like -10 one night, and then it was like -14 one night. So two nights of idling, which is pretty rare for me, because like I'll take the bunk heater down to 0. But I'm also selling heated coats down in the description. Check that out. Those are pretty awesome. If you guys haven't checked those out, go down to the description below. There's all kind of fun stuff. I got a second channel down there as well. Check that out, Trucking with Diabetes. Fun stuff in that description, guys. I got Twitter, TikTok. It's all down there. Go check it out. $98 on reefer for the week. $52 on DEF. I had 1 week earlier that was $50 a week on DEF. 52 is the first week I've made it over 50 on DEF. It just keeps getting more and more expensive, so it is what it is. $374 on tolls. And I went around the Indiana going out and coming back. I'll run toll roads. I hate the Indiana toll road. It's rough. It's expensive. They can keep it. So I went around Indiana, but I ran the rest of them. Let's see. That Mass Turnpike's kind of expensive, too. Let's see. What else we got? $27 in scales. I scaled both of these loads. The last load was not that heavy, but it was loaded awkward because it was 3 different stops, and it was 3 totally different products, and it was loaded all the way to the back door. So I had no idea how that was balancing out. So I scaled it just to be safe, you know. That's what we do. That's what we do. And I spent $30 on parking. 2 nights of parking. You know, when I run that East Coast, I'm not afraid to pay to park. It's just, it's the nature of the beast, you know. It's, you pay to park, or you park on the side of the road, which for me, I'm like, what is $15 to not have, you know, trucks blowing by you all night, you know, not rocking the truck, not being able to sleep because of the noise. I'm taking my sleep very serious here lately. You know, really trying to get some good sleep, and I just paid a $15. It's just the way it is. So there it is, $2,223 in variable cost. Holy crap, that's a lot of variable cost, but we had top line revenue that looked good, so it all makes it worth it. Bring over the $10,320 that I made on my 80%. You subtract the $2,223 of variable cost. That leaves me $8,097, 8097, 8097 to do what I have to do with, which is a lot of money to do what I have to do with. So I'm very happy with this week. It was a stressful week, I'm not gonna lie, with the pork place holding me up for 12 hours and costing me like all my free time in that run. You know, basically, I had a 6 p.m. appointment on that. I got my paperwork at like 6 a.m. So I'm glad I got plenty of sleep that night, because I kind of knew what they were going to do to me. You know, and then I had to run like, you know, back-to-back 600-mile days to make that first stop. And, you know, like minimum breaks, 10-hour break, 600 miles minimum breaks. You know how those days are. So it was kind of stressful week, but you know, when you getting good money, it kind of evens everything out. You know, makes it okay to me at least. Um, but yeah, another good week in the books. January was probably one of my best months ever, honestly. For a January, I'm amazed. I'm happy. You know, normally you plan on a little bit of a slump in January, but January came out on fire. So let's hope that continues, and everybody stay safe out there. Take care of each other. Make sure you check out that description for all my fun stuff, and leave me a comment if you're new here. Think about subscribing. Hit that thumbs up if you made it this far. Thanks, everybody. Click on one of these other videos if you want to continue watching. Bye.